Welcome to the Three Hokages podcast. We're your hosts, Kareem Haneef. We have a number of different topics to discuss today. First, we're going to start with Blerdcon. Blerdcon, for those who are not familiar, it's a Black-owned convention that's based just outside of Washington, D.C. area. This past weekend, Kay and I attended for this is our third year straight. The theme was Thrilla. So a lot of people was dressed as different characters from the Michael Jackson horror video, music video, Thriller. If you haven't gone to Blerdcon before, it is an experience. It's not like any other pop culture convention like New York Comic Con, C2E2, or San Diego Comic Con. I think this one probably sets the bar for Black-owned conventions where everything, well, I would say everything, predominantly most vendors, most panels revolve around Black people, Black-owned businesses, Black culture. So we felt at home. It's not something where you don't think there are people who are not people of color or are there cosplaying, vending, and they are very welcome. So hopefully people who watch this don't think that, okay, I'm not Black, I can't attend. And that's definitely not the case. Everyone, I think with like most things of Black culture, we are very welcoming in spaces. So it's not in the other way around where it's not Black owned or it's not about Black culture and we don't feel welcomed. We vended part of a Talk Noir collection. We had our own booth in the Independence Hall. So we really didn't get a lot of chances to cruise a lot of the show floors, the video game area, or even some of the panels. Definitely, we missed out on all the panels. I think the special guest.
Well, that wasn't a panel. No, we didn't miss out on all the panels. We did get to go see the Ianu, which we can't talk about.
Well, technically, we're not able to discuss certain stuff that we've seen at this panel.
We can just give general impressions about it.
Yes. So any questions about it, we were asked not to divulge any details until the public airing of it. Ianu is an anime based off the comic book series called Ianu, Iyanu. We will tag it inside of our podcast so that way if you want to find out more about it, you can. It was a great several episodes. It's hard to not talk about it because it was really exciting. Yeah, it's going to be a full animated series on HBO Max featuring a lot about African mythology, African folklore. I'm trying to think what's it closely comparative to. I would probably say Avatar: The Last Airbender. Wow. Is probably going to be the closest iteration. But again, without going into details, I think if you look up probably Ianu, you can probably find the comics. They are out now in stores, so you can always it's called Ianu Child of Wonder. If you want to follow the animated series as well as the comic book series on social media, you can go to Ianu Series. That's IYANU SERIES on Instagram. You can follow the creator. He was there. They asked us some questions. They had some of the voice actors there as well. It's a great product, great content. And I think a lot of people are going to enjoy the series when it comes out. It's made for everyone. So I think I would probably say ages 8 and up, because it's not. I mean, it's not anything that's overly graphic violence like Invincible or anything like that. I'll put it in the realm of if your kid is old enough to watch Avatar: The Last Airbender, they're old enough to watch Ianu. There's special powers and there's dark stuff, but it's not to the point where a kid can't. There's no language that kid can't. You got to be concerned as a parent that you allow your kid to watch it.
So, high praise.
No, it was very good. I mean, we enjoyed ourselves. So I guess that was our panel. We were invited to a private screening of the film after show floor hours. So thank you to the Blerd Girl for inviting us. Thank you to Blerd for hosting it at Alamo Draft House. It was a very nice setup. With that being said, we didn't get to see other panels. Janelle Monáe was a special guest at the at Blerdcon. She was introducing her new graphic novel. I think it's Iraq Android or Arch Android is the new thing. So she came out. I think everyone who was in attendance got a free copy as well. And I think the posters. I don't think they were signed, but they, at least they got to see her in person. She talked about it with the creator, and they received a free comic book. So that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So it's all held in the Hyatt Regency. Actually, they expanded from the Hyatt Regency Hotel to now the Hilton Courtyard, which is across the street. Similar to Dragon Con, where there's panels and events happening in multiple hotels at the same time. I think the Hilton Hotel had tabletop gaming. So if you're a D&D fan, Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, any of those tabletop card game kind of things, they have that. That was actually being hosted by none other than Navy Montel in the Hilton. So you have, again, they have something for everybody. They have plenty of food. Plenty of food trucks were there. There was a funnel cake truck, which I hit up. Funnel cake was good.
First off, let's ignore the funnel cake before we get to that. How was the people that did the strawberry shortcake in a container? Like, how was that? Like,
that strawberry shortcake in that jar was great. I bought one. I think I purchased it on Saturday night. I didn't eat it till we came back, I think Monday or Tuesday, because it comes in a glass jar with a screw on top, so it doesn't spill out anything. It was perfect. I loved it. I even sent a message to the woman. The truck was Southern Peach, I believe. I said, this was great. I'm just mad I didn't buy more of these. Kirsten bought a peach cobbler one. I just started eating it like the other day, so it's good for at least a week inside the cup. It was good. It's good. I'm halfway finished it. I had to pace myself. I'm celebrating Ramadan, so I can't be gorging myself too much on iftar because I'm gonna hit into like a food coma right away.
See, so I wish I would have bought it.
I wish I bought more. Honestly, I wish I had bought more those things because they have all type of different cobblers and desserts that came in jars. They also made po' boys. I had a shrimp one. Kirsten had a shrimp one. Again, like I said, I had the funnel cake. Kirsten had like from another truck. It was a funnel cake only truck. They also made lemonades. I had a mango lemonade. It had like fresh pieces of mango in it. Kirsten had a lavender lemonade that had the blueberry. And these are not small cups. These are like honestly, it would have probably fit well inside of the Blerdcon tumbler. It was like at least a 30-ounce cup of lemonade. Kay had, what did you get? I think Kay had,
I got chicken? It was almost like a Philly cheesesteak, but it didn't quite taste it. It was somebody's version of a Philly cheesesteak. It was okay. I'm not gonna lie, like it was okay. I just
she had hush puppies. I was good on the hush puppies.
Right? Yeah. So I had the Philly cheesesteak and a hush puppy. Yo, I could have foregone the Philly cheesesteak and just got more hush puppies and would have been perfect.
Yeah, and the trucks are out there all day long, all night long. I think they may close. Some of them may close at 11. Some may stay open all night because they're again, the lobby or the lower level of the hotel. The video game area is like PlayStations, old Nintendo, old 8-bit, new stuff. They have the big screen, people playing what's this game? Smash Brothers and stuff like that. So it's all night long. So if you want to, you leave your hotel room, I just want to play some video games, do that. Sometimes the food trucks are still open if you want to have craving for a late night fix or some foods. And the 3 trucks that we are talking about is just only 3 of they had at least I would say at least 10 different food trucks. So
yeah, there was like one that had like next to the one that you got, like where you guys had the cake and stuff. There was a Thai restaurant one that looked really good. There was one that did like coffee and stuff, and then there was an ice cream truck, like literally like they just did ice cream, and I kept seeing people in it, and I was like, oh, I really really want it, but I couldn't get it because it was dairy, and I was just like,
yeah, they had Caribbean food. One guy had I think it was like a hot dog truck, but I never seen it before. I didn't eat it because it just sounded weird. It was like hot dogs, but it was like I guess they made it with with nachos. So I guess they dice up the glizzies and they put it with nachos. It was just like all kind of different stuff. Like it's best to take it back to your hotel room and experiment with this food because you don't want to eat it out. Like this don't do it. But again, they had better food options than what we've seen at New York Comic Con, and the prices were much more affordable.
Yeah, like
you're not spending $20 for a chicken tender and some French fries. Like you're gonna get yourself a decent amount. Like $15 was a po' boy and fries or whatever, or something like that. But
how were the lines? Is it a long wait?
We went out. The lines for us, because we went out after the show floor closed, the lines were pretty slow. And I'm so as far as not many people. I think we had maybe 3 people in front of us. You just had to wait for the people to actually make the food. The stuff isn't sitting there ready just to bagged up and go. They actually in the back frying it up, cooking it up. Funnel cake there was no line. I walked right up to the window, ordered, got my stuff in under 10 minutes. The po' boy took some time because I guess they had to fry the shrimp, but it wasn't the lines. I guess maybe midday it might be busy, might be long. This year the lines were not bad. I think last year we ran into some issues with as far as waiting a bit of time. But again, in comparison to New York Comic Con, probably because it's a larger crowd, we didn't. I mean, you're not waiting long, and plus you have so many different options of food there. And if you don't want any of those, across the roadway there's a McDonald's. So it's like you have access to food, and I think the luxury of being this really a hotel-based convention, you can just take it back up to your room, put it in a little refrigerator or a microwave for later. You don't have to be like, oh, there's nothing else to eat. I gotta go to 8th Avenue. I'm held captive if I gotta eat something here, because if not, once I'm out of here, I'm not coming back to get something to eat. The panels, again, we didn't get to see a lot of the panels, but if you go, follow social media, there were plenty of different panels. I felt like Blerdcon is a great example. It felt like almost like a class reunion. Like all the people you chat with or you follow on social media, you see them in person. See them walking the show floor, and they're very approachable. Hey, I follow you. Hi, how are you? You can chat with them. It's great to see a lot of the businesses that we follow online. They actually are there now. Some of the creators are there, like David Crownson from Harry Potter. Sorry, yes, Harriet Tubman. I'm sorry, it was the HA. Harriet Tubman, Demon Slayer. He was there. So he had a booth.
He was next to next to Greg and Market and then also next to Ozzy's booth.
Yeah, so Ozzy was there. This is the first time Ozzy's been there in person. Usually he has his own booth where his colleagues are there selling for him, but this was his first year of being there in person. So it was a nice experience for him. Hopefully he comes back. He said he had a good time. But again, it's great to see so many different Black vendors. Like when we go to New York Comic Con, we look for Black artists, Black creators to see what content they're creating. Now you have multiple show floors of people showing all kind of content. Actually, give me a second. I can go and bring one of the comics. Actually, this is one of them here. I'll show you here. This was done by a guy it's called Dead Universe. He did a mashup of Anya from Spy Family and Renji from Chainsaw Man.
Yeah.
So I mean, like his artwork was pretty cool. He's also working on some other his own manga as well. But I definitely want to give him a shout out because this was really art. This is the back of the card.
Yeah. So and there were other like the people that were next to us. Like, okay, the guy, the booth on the right of us. Even if we wanted to show you this, like I didn't buy anything from them because there's like not enough time. But like even if I wanted to, there is no way I could show what they were selling.
Yeah, there was some not for safe work that was being sold at the conventions. He had the Asian guy next to us. He had some that was like he had the mouse pads that was like had I guess an anime girl, but the wrist part of it was the boobs of the woman, like that kind of stuff. Like
they don't have kids day at Blerdcon. No kids day there, huh?
Well, no, there were children, and that's the thing. So like this is kind of what kind of makes it funny. Like he had some of that stuff, but some of the main things that were like on his booth were like kid friendly ish. But then there was also like the adult friendly pictures and items.
Yeah.
So like
if a kid's women in suggestive poses and things like I mean, there wasn't stuff that was blatantly out. Like you're not going to see nipples and genitalia like hanging from the rafters kind of thing. But there's kids there every Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's kids all throughout. Which is great. It's not like, okay, well, only Sunday the children show up. The kids stop by our booth multiple times a day, multiple days out of the weekend. I think the only downside is that some cosplayers, I guess like any convention, some of their outfits is a little bit more revealing than others. But I think, you run into that you go to New York Comic Con. Yeah. I've seen it where the lady was standing outside in the front topless, like no, other than pasties on, nothing else on. But that's at New York Comic Con. So it's not like I went to some Katsucon or some other thing that's like not really for children. But no, they're out there. But I mean, I think with anyone, if you yourself, Kareem, have a young child, I think you can still find entertainment and find enjoyment in the convention and the booths and stuff.
And if your kid loves fantasy, if your kid loves fantasy, there's this one lady. She has a booth. She wasn't upstairs where we were. She was downstairs, but like she yells. You can try to put like she has like foam weapons and stuff, and she encourages adults and children to play with them. Like
that's what. Yeah, they have the big foam swords and all that stuff.
She had a
he'll
foam
be running around
frying pan
pretending
with, like,
he's
eggs
starting
in it.
to notice anything. So he'll be starting the whole weekend.
Yeah, so I mean,
that's even notice.
I think that's what's also fun about that. It's like she had her own little area where you can test out the hammer, because he had last year. I think he had like this big war hammer that was. I think the handle itself was probably at least 3 feet long. Like it was like a big war hammer. She's like, go ahead, give it a good swing, give it a good whack, to test it out. And it's fun. I'm sure your son wouldn't mind having his go at a few of those weapons over there.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's super fun. It's like she did all sorts of stuff, and I'm just like, wow, I genuinely appreciate it, because you have stuff for like adults, like the art prints and stuff like that, but then you had like the fun stuff for like the kids, because sometimes kids don't want to just see pictures. They don't want to just see this stuff. They're like, they want to play with actual things. And the fact that she had the weapons that were for kids to play with, there was like a foam frying pan. Like you could play like you were hitting somebody with a foam frying pan. I was like, that's really cool. Someone will enjoy it. But that's just because I did a quick run through on like Sunday to try to get stuff for my nephews. And I'm just like, run through very quickly. Figure it out. And then I found her and I was like, okay, cool. But then I'm like, I still missed so much other stuff. I'm just like, it's a great convention and you will not get bored, because there is way too much.
There's someone who wants to go next year and they're almost certain that they'll be going next year. Maybe me. Would you recommend that they have to either see or do for a first time experience at Blerdcon?
Okay, because I haven't really seen a panel, I can't say go to the panel. I can't suggest that. But I
would say Saturday, check out the cosplay contest.
Yeah,
because you can see a lot of different cosplayers come up there from all different levels of creativity, and the whole crowd gets into it. So I enjoyed myself. I think 2 years ago we were able to see the cosplay contest on Saturday. That was fun.
Nice.
Now, I don't know how much of a party you are, but they have the after hours inside the ballroom. So they got it was basically like a club. Like they got the DJ up on there playing music and see people in cosplay outfits. And again, it's in your hotel, so you just come right downstairs in your pajamas inside the
thing. And then even if you stay at the hotel across, because there's one hotel that you can get that where everything's at, but then there's a hotel right across where you get to sign in at, and that's not even literally it's one you're just moving over, you're literally just walking out and going to the next building. My only downside, because there is a downside, is it's the fact that it was in March. The wind, it wasn't cold. It was not cold. Again, to me, it wasn't cold. It was cold to them. But I was like, this is nothing. But the wind, when the wind is blowing, it's oh, this is some serious wind. And I'm like, okay, I get why you guys feel cold. Because all I had on was for the most part, I had a hoodie. It was a thick hoodie, but I had on a hoodie for for most of it. And then when we get back into the convention, I'm like, take this off. It's too hot. I can't deal with this no more. This is just too hot. But I would prefer it's better in July. To me, in the sense that it's not as cold, but that the only downside is that they've moved it to March. It makes it a little bit harder to enjoy being outside, enjoy doing all these other things, but everybody's inside. So, and it's still really fun. It's just that's the one downside I'd say, because I think we would have seen more children, younger children, if it on Friday, if it was the summertime, because the kids don't have school.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was great. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I
think I agree with the Kay's sentiment as far as when it was originally, I believe in July, you're going to get a lot more traffic because school is out. Now it being in March, a lot of these schools for younger kids, it's aside from Saturday, Sunday in that vicinity, school is in session. You have, I believe, some of the college kids may be off for spring break, but some of them may not be able to travel there for spring break. So again, it's going to be in March of next year. I think the first weekend in March. I think I'm not sure why they changed it. Maybe to not compete with Dream convention.
Possibly, that makes sense.
But if the weather is a decent pre-spring weather, like in the high 50s, mid 60s, I think it's nice outside. But if it got cool and it rained, I think that Wednesday or Thursday beforehand, so it definitely was cool and windy Thursday and Friday. So you didn't see many people outside as we were heading into the convention. But again, all of the stuff is indoors except for the food trucks, and they had like a small outside concert area where they had musical performances and stuff. Like that Saturday night, they had at least 20, 25 people doing the Thriller dance, choreographed Thriller dance in the parking lot, which was pretty funny. It's probably more of an indoors thing. Yeah. But I definitely suggest check out Blerdcon. They're on social media at Blerdcon, as well as blerdcon.org is their new web address. So you can check them out, see what the previous videos and pictures of their previous events, as well as purchase a ticket that may still be available by the time you listen to this podcast. But from going from in person to not in person, we'll discuss some shows that recently aired on your favorite streaming networks. Kareem has seen Daredevil now on Disney Plus, no longer Netflix. It's not the entire season. I think it's first 3 episodes are out. The first 2 episodes are out.
The first 3 episodes.
First 3 episodes. So what's your how's it? What's the comparison to the first 2 seasons of Daredevil on Netflix? Does it continue that ride of violence and awesomeness, or is it you feel like it dropped off?
I think it definitely continues it. Before I even get into that, it's just one question I have to make it truly feel like a Daredevil show. Is will Turk make an appearance this season? I need to know that. I need to know that. I start with a little bit of humor because this show is heart-wrenching so far this season. It does not let up from the beginning of the first episode. I mean, just watch like the first 15 minutes of the first episode. No exaggeration. You will get a true sense of how this season is going to go. It is testing your limits of how much you can bear in terms of how much is actually happening. It is surprising. It is entertaining. It leaves you in a place where you're not sure where it's going to go. And it's adapting one of, I think, the better storylines pertaining to Kingpin and Daredevil in New York City. So even in just the first few episodes, and I'm keeping it spoiler free in a lot of ways. The way it starts off, I would say some of the scenes compared to the infamous hallway scene from the Daredevil Netflix series.
I was going to ask, is it one of those well choreographed fight scenes?
Extremely well choreographed, and it's not even just like the main action. It's also the little things that you have to notice that's happening on the side, where you realize like, wow, there's a lot of coordination here. I mean, not even just with the characters that are fighting, but the characters just trying to survive, and they're in the midst of a scene that they had no idea that they would be in the middle of. So it's absolutely on that same level so far, not just in terms of the action, but in terms of the storyline. So this does pick up a few years later from the original series. It does incorporate itself into the overall MCU universe, where they do some name dropping like Spider-Man, Punisher, which came from Netflix. But this is very New York. It's very Kingpin is New York, Daredevil is New York, Spider-Man is New York, Punisher is New York. And I do like the way it's setting the stage for the characters to not only be pushed beyond their usual limits, but it can allow the writing, which has been really good so far, to show the best things about these characters. Where I think hopefully it can exceed the Netflix series. And this is just me being very vague, but I believe it can exceed the Netflix series. Because one thing Netflix had was a problem with ending shows or ending seasons. where it's like they would end it in a way where it's like, yeah, we could have made the story nice, but we wanted to kind of like stretch it out to make you feel like you need to wait for something else to come. Hopefully Disney Plus doesn't do the same thing, and they realize that it's not trying to lead people on that's going to keep them coming back. It's giving them something that they enjoy that they just want more of. And I think that's what it's doing so far. 3 episodes in, I have no idea where this show is going, but in a good way. In a good way. In a good way. If you think you understand what's happening, then boom, it hits you again.
Oh, okay. I think it's supposed to be 9 episodes this year, so that's we got 6. You got 6 more to go. I have to catch up.
Yeah. You're only a third way there. But Kay, you saw the first episode already, right?
I saw not the full first episode because I'm trying to be a good person and wait to watch it with someone else because I'm trying to be a nice person. So trying. But I did watch, I think I watched I didn't finish the first episode, but I think I watched like more than halfway through. Because I watched it when I came back and I tried not to fall asleep, but that was a me thing. I do like it, and I think Disney is doing a smart thing with the TV shows. Like, this is gonna sound weird. I liken it to the way that they did Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., how it continues the story, but it's its own story without having to, like, we get it, like, we've got the people, we know what's going on, we've heard everything, like, we're talking, we've got everything, we know what's going, but we're not literally, like, it needs to fully tie into it. Like, we know we're not going to see, like, Wong. We're not, well, actually, no, that's a lie. We will probably see Wong at some point.
We don't know what's happening.
We don't know what's happening.
Right, but like you'll see, like, but you won't see, like, we're not going to see Iron Man. We're not, like, but we know that it's still, these are the people that are dealing with the ish, like, on everyday level, but we hint at, like, I like that factor for it. I will try to. I'm gonna lie. I know I'm gonna watch the first 2, but before Tuesday, I'm gonna finish the first 3 episodes. I know this. I'm lying to myself that I'm gonna wait, but I am trying to be nice to say that I will watch. I will wait, but I won't.
We have you on the record saying you'll try to wait.
Yes, see, I tried. Today is Sunday, so I did very well by not finishing the first episode. I think I've done very good. But yeah, I can't say that by Tuesday morning I won't have finished all 3 episodes. But and the funny thing is, I didn't get into Daredevil that quickly when it was on Netflix. Like, it took me watching probably like the whole first season to really get into Daredevil. Not to say that it was bad, I just kind of didn't care. And now I'm like, no, I didn't care. Look, I didn't care for whatever. But now I'm like, okay, because I watched it, and I will say this, I also never finished Daredevil on Netflix either. I gotta look. I don't finish stuff. We're whatever. Look, there's a reason why it's called Lazy Girl Nerd, because I drop in, I move out. Yeah, like, I never finished it. Like, I don't think I finished any of the Netflix Marvel shows. I don't think I did.
We don't acknowledge all of them, so it's okay.
Yeah, because I'm like, all of them didn't really exist. But I do think I like this more than I did the first go around on Netflix. Like, I'm already more intrigued about what's happening than I was before. Not to say that that's a good, like, I mean, not to say that the Netflix show wasn't good. I just didn't really care. Like, it took a lot for me to build up into it. Now it's like immediate where, okay, I already like this and it's already good for me to watch. Again, that's not watching the full first 3. It may suck after 3 episodes. I don't know. The 4th episode may be trash. I mean, it is Marvel, so there is a very good shot that they like to do really well, Disney, and then, like, piss it away. We're gonna do good, then we're gonna no.
I'm hoping that's not the case for this one, since it's already an established universe. It's already an established audience base. You really just, it should be difficult for you to mess this up.
Yeah.
Right, like you have 2 seasons of content from actors. You didn't recast anyone. I don't think anyone of the main characters, and you didn't recast. You don't have to try to create a new backstory or a reason to care about Charlie Cox's Daredevil or Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin. I mean, these guys, both of them, did an excellent job. I felt creating those representing those characters and what we've seen on the small screen and big screen in the past. I don't even know what the plot really is for this season. I just know I enjoyed Daredevil more than I thought I was going to, because it was a character that I didn't really follow pretty well inside the comic book wise before the live action. So I'm going in with fresh eyes. The Ben Affleck version of the films don't exist in my world, so I don't know anything else other than what people told me about. So watching Daredevil on Netflix was great. I'm looking forward to the season 3, and hopefully it continues on its upward trajectory.
Yeah. So I do agree with what Kay said about this season already makes you care about what's happening, and that is it exists in the greater MCU, but it's not reliant on those stories. So you
Mm-hmm.
can watch this and really not care what's happening outside of the show. So there are some major plot points that's already been established. And the best part for me is I'm not even thinking about how it's going to tie into the next Marvel movie, how it's going to tie into the next Marvel show. It really doesn't matter because so far it's so well self-contained, and in my opinion, well written that you're just enjoying it for what it is. So they did have a recast of a character who wasn't a major character in the past, and that's Vanessa. She is playing a more prominent role so far in this season, which I can't get into because that does touch on a little bit of spoilers. But it does create a more interesting dynamic in
Mm-hmm.
terms of what the Kingpin is going through. Um, and there are a lot of twists and turns that can happen so far, but this season has set itself up to be in a great position to take it to the next level. Obviously, it benefits off of the Netflix establishing the origin. We don't need to see that again, and they can just move forward with the characters from where they are. But I think they can really take this to the next level. And they did already split this season into 2 seasons, so it is supposed to be a total of 18 episodes over 2 seasons. So hopefully they have a lot already planned out,
Okay.
or they're going to take this seriously and finish it strong.
I wonder if you think that second season, or do you know if that second season is going to come out in 2026 or that's 2027?
I don't know. They can finish filming it and then wait 5 years before releasing it. Hopefully they don't do that. So I'm hoping, maybe even next year. Uh, this isn't really a spoiler, but I wonder if they're going to at least introduce one more character from the Netflix series. Only because it kind of ties into the comic book storyline related to what the Kingpin is doing. But again, I don't know. I don't know.
I know they. Oh, go ahead.
I wonder how many of the other people will show up from the previous world, like from the previous iterations. Like, will the Night Nurse show back up? Like, I mean, she's already doing a whole bunch of other stuff. Like, Rosario Dawson's already doing way too many other things. But like, I can't imagine them not bringing her back at least for like an episode. But I don't know if they said if they have definitively said if anybody else was coming back.
No, they haven't. I think maybe Jessica Jones is hinting at coming back. So I think there was something related to that, but I don't know if that's real. I don't know if Luke Cage may be back. It would make sense, but I don't know if they would keep the same actors. And that's why I just mentioned Jessica Jones, because I know the actress, she did post something before regarding, the trademark outfit that she always wore. So I know Kristen Ritter posted that a while back. And I think she was great as Jessica Jones. To me, I think it's just more along the lines of what kind of stories are they going to give. Um, it may be bad to say, but there's really just one person I don't want to come back.
Well,
and that's Iron
we all
Fist.
can agree that we don't want
I
to
don't
see
want
the
to get
same
into
Iron
that.
Fist show up.
Yeah.
Zerwell,
And that's honestly what I was
up.
going to ask too. I was going to ask, do you think Luke Cage will show? Because I believe the Punisher shows up. The actor John Bernthal makes an appearance this season. When I don't know, I'll find out on my own. But I was kind of hoping maybe Luke Cage can show up or be at least a mention, even not on screen. If there's even mentions of those MCU characters, it's nice to see.
That's what I think. It's possible that Luke Cage can show up, but it depends on where they take the storyline. Where if there's someone that becomes more popular in terms of public opinion, then we would have a choice for someone other than the Kingpin. And it'll make more sense what I'm saying once you watch the episode and you see what the Kingpin becomes early on. It would make sense to see if Luke Cage is that counterforce, at least in terms of the public eye. But they don't absolutely have to go that route. They can make it go any way that they want to, but it would make sense if Luke Cage does make an appearance, or at least is prominently mentioned at some point down the line.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I got something else to watch. So still on the streaming kick, we'll head on over to Amazon Prime. Invincible's season just finished airing. I think there was 8 episodes, I believe, or 9 episodes. Just like last season, just like the season before, Invincible is probably one of the more brutal animated series on television. I mean, every episode, some bones are popping, someone's getting eviscerated or something like that. It's a wild ride. This season was it continued from last season where Mark is back on Earth. He now brought in tow his brother. He found out he has a half brother who's, I guess, by Omni-Man, or his father, Nolan, fathered with some grasshopper mantis style species, but somehow they still ended up making a human purple baby that has the same powers as his brother. As far as he's invincible. No, he's super strong, can fly, all that kind of good stuff. I mean, some of the stuff happened this season. I mean, we don't really have time to delve into each individual episode. I know from those people who've read the comics and the series, there's a lot of action in certain episodes that never existed in the comics. And I think that's because Robert Kirkman worked closely with the animators to add more depth to certain scenes, to just to add the intense brutality, especially of the final 2 episodes of the season, where there's just so much violence by when another Viltrumite shows up to Earth. So, okay, you haven't watched it. I don't think it. The frown on your face tells me you're not planning on watching it.
Like, okay, it's not that it's bad. It's just that, like, I don't like. This is the thing. I guess this is my problem with like stuff. I'm okay for like a season or 2. Then I'm like, yeah, I don't care anymore. I will eventually watch the whole thing. I will. I will try to watch
girl
it.
Nerd.
I am, but it's more because like I feel like my attention span gets like really into stuff. Like I get hyper focused, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't care anymore. I'm just like, I just can't do it anymore. But
Why?
I will possibly watch it potentially if I'm forced to. That sounds bad.
It's good. I think I know there's so much going on in the physical comic that I would say watching the animated series is the best way to watch it, because there's a lot of short stories that are left out, that are filler, if you will, in the comic, but it doesn't exist in the animated series. I'm interested to see where it goes. This guy Mark, he's still one of Earth's strongest heroes. I mean, the Viltrumites, who is the race of beings that his father comes from, are still much more stronger than him. I mean, he's getting beat, every which way in the last 2 episodes. But there's got to be some way. There's got to be a point where he's able to overcome this and become invincible and be able to stop the Viltrumites from taking over Earth eventually. I presume eventually. I haven't read the comics. I don't know where it's going to go, but the latest Viltrumite that showed up, they just said his name is Conquest. He doesn't even get a real name. They just named him from what he does, and he comes to planets when they need him to wreck shop and conquer, and he comes there to to do just that.
Yeah, that was to me a very satisfying finale. I think the season has finally shown Mark or Invincible growing into the name. I mean, past season he was getting his ass beat like episode after episode, where it's like
Yeah.
this is ridiculous. Like all he does is get beat up. Um, and at least this season started showing that okay, he's getting stronger, he's getting faster. He's becoming his own character. So when he's able to at least go toe to toe in some of these episodes where he actually wins some of these fights, it's more believable and it's more encouraging where you're like, okay, he's finally getting there.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
I did enjoy this season a lot. I think there are a lot of different stories happening at one time.
Yeah.
Um, and sometimes it's easy to get lost in okay, who's the villain this week, who's the villain that week, where you start becoming focused on one storyline where it kind of like, okay, now we're gonna just jump to something else. So even in terms of the fight with Conquest, to me that was good. I enjoyed it. We got characters showing more of their ability. But then right after that, it's like, okay, well, now here's some teasers for what's going to happen next. And it's like, okay, now we got to do with this again. Now we got to do with that again. And it's just like, I don't want to say it's overwhelming in terms of the amount of villains that it has. Um, but it seems as if it's kind of downplaying each villain by making them just the villain of the week, where they have extraordinary powers and they're just being overcome, or if they don't get overcome, they're coming right back.
Hmm.
Even though I'm enjoying the overall story, the characters, it's good to see that every character has been developed better this season in light of that original season when Omni Man went crazy and ballistic. I think the character development was better. So the impact that these actions had on the characters, without giving any spoilers, was more heartfelt. Um, so when they introduced the multiple marks and you know what happens to some of the characters, it was more heartfelt. Like I really felt like oh come on, this character I hated in season two, like don't do anything to him in season three. It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
it's amazing how these characters had these really good trajectories where you become invested in them. And I think that's the power of the writing. That's the power of the character growth. Um, but it's just like I want to see the Viltrumite storyline. Then it's like before we get to that, let's have these other storylines, and they're not bad. It's just I want to get to one of the storylines and see them to a conclusion at least.
It's like a buffet, if you will. Like there's so many
Yeah,
different things they can tap into. Like which one are you going to focus on more? Like I say, you can focus on the main character Mark and him trying to get stronger in preparation for a possible Viltrumite invasion, or you can focus on Mark trying to train his brother trying to learn how to be a superhero, even though the family wants him to try to live a normal life. You can focus on Nolan and I forgot the one-eyed guy who's voiced by what's that cornball? I forgot his name, but anyway, but you know what I'm talking. You know who exactly what I'm talking about, though. The guy who does the voice acting for the one-eyed alien Alan. Anyway, yeah, the
yeah,
guy from he's always with John Franco. Anyway, regardless of who the voice
yeah,
actor is, I mean, you can focus on that storyline, like how Nolan and Alan teaming up to try to break free. Are they going to break free of the prison? If they do break free, are they coming back to Earth? What's the next steps for them? What's happening with the Justice Society of Rex and Duplicate and Immortal and all these other again, they have so many characters, villains and heroes. And I think to me, what I like about the show is that while they may be defeated, this week, some of these characters don't return.
yeah.
There's a lot of people, as you've seen from the first season, in the first episode of the first season, a lot of these heroes, even though they're super powerful and stuff, they get axed off, and you're not coming back. Like these are characters that meet a final end, villain or non-villain, in this season and previous seasons. That it's like, oh wow, okay, I thought that person was going to be around for much longer. Or, I'm glad this person still is around for much longer. They almost bit the bullet, that kind of thing. But I agree that with Kareem, there's so much happening. The one thing I noticed about this season is that if you live in this world of Invincible, there's no place safe. These entire cities are getting wasted. Like you thought the destruction you've seen in Superman versus Doomsday or Superman versus Zod inside the Henry Cavill movies was something. There's entire cities like Chicago or New York and Paris and stuff, but they're getting decimated, like thousands of people getting killed in these. No, they're knocking down entire buildings, entire subway systems in their fights. So it's not like one little scrappy do, and they're knocking each other through buildings, and the buildings fall. It's like so much collateral damage in these films, in these in these episodes.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Invincible. It sucks that I think we got to wait until 2026 to see some new episodes. So for those who don't want to wait, I implore you to go and pick up the copies of Invincible, either the 3-volume compendiums or the individual episodes, issues. Because this is definitely a good series.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I'm looking to try to see when the next season comes out.
2026. It's not going to be this year.
I mean, like,
probably gonna give you another 8, 9 up. If we're still here, no, now with this current administration, if we're still here, we'll check back in with you all from off the Civil War front and tell you how season 4 is. We're in danger.
Right. We need Cecil, somebody to come help now. Okay.
Somebody just. Listen, they need Rex Explosion to come in and handle this or something.
Yeah.
But that being said, that's our episode for this week at the Three Hokages podcast. We're your hosts, Kareem, and Haneef. Have a good one.